Welcome back. I'm Uday Pratap Singh. The headlines this hour. Full probe report on the Delhi High Court Judge Yashwant Verma accessed. Committee indicts Justice Verma after questioning 55 witnesses, finding sufficient substance in allegations. India conducts another complex rescue operation from a war-torn country. 110 students reached Delhi from Tehran via Armenia. After Modi meets Carney in Canada, CSIS admits Khalistani extremists on its soil for the first time. CSIS document says Canada is used as a base for promotion, fundraising and planning violence. US President Donald Trump hosts Pakistani Army Chief Asim Munir at the White House. The meeting comes after PM Modi held a 35-minute phone call with Trump, stating India would tolerate no third-party mediation on Pakistan. US President Donald Trump reiterates his role in the India-Pakistan mediation, but claims it was Modi who coordinated the ceasefire from India's side with Pakistan. This comes after Pak Army claimed Trump-Munir meeting lasted for 2 hours. Tensions in the Middle East continue to come to a boil with a fresh wave of cross-border strikes exchanged between Iran and Israel. Israel says Iranian ballistic missiles struck the Soroka hospital, calling it a war crime. Air India Chairman N. Chandrasekaran apologizes for the tragic Ahmedabad plane crash that resulted in 275 casualties. This comes after the airline decided to reduce its international services by 15% over the next few weeks. 211 of 275 victims of the tragic Air India crash have now been identified via DNA testing. Administration says all efforts to verify remaining samples at the earliest being made. As part of its fleet check following the fatal AI-171 plane crash, Air India has now completed mandatory inspection of 26 Boeing 787-8 and 787-9 aircrafts of its 33 wide-bodied models, with sources saying that the remaining 7 will be completed in the next 2 to 3 days. Jatin Raval is joining us for more on this story. Jatin, Air India conducting a review currently. Give us a status update on that.
जी देखिए, बिल्कुल आपको बता दूं, जिस तरह से जो एयरप्लेन जो दुर्घटना का जो मामला आया था, जो 7878 जो ड्रीम लाइनर जो बोइंग विमान था जिसमें ये हादसा हुआ, उसी की वजह से एयर इंडिया के जितने भी जो 33 यानी कि 33 जो 787-8 और 787-9 जो जितने भी जो वाइड बोइंग जो विमान थे, सभी का जांच परीक्षण करने का आदेश जो है वो दिया था, जिसमें से अभी तक कुल 26 जो है वो विमानों का जो परीक्षण जो है वो हो चुका है सफलता से, और 7 जो बोइंग विमान है अभी उनका परीक्षण जो होना जो है वो बाकी है, वो अगले 7 दिनों के अंदर जो है वो पूरा कर दिया जाएगा। यानी कि 2 से 3 दिनों के अंदर इन 7 विमान का परीक्षण जो है वो पूरा कर दिया जाएगा। उसके बाद ये 33 जो विमान है वो पूरी तरह से उड़ान भरने के लिए जो है वो सक्षम हो गए। लेकिन सवाल अभी भी जो है वो ये है कि किस तरह से ये जो परीक्षण जो है वो किए जा रहे हैं, क्या उसका जो क्राइटेरिया है वो किस तरह से इसको अप्रूवल जो है वो दिया जाएगा, क्योंकि अगर सही में अगर ये परीक्षण जो है वो होता है तो इस परीक्षण को पहले जो है वो क्यों नहीं किया, क्योंकि 2 या 3 महीने पहले इसी उड़ान के इसी जो मार्च या अप्रैल में जो है एक बार फिर से इसका इंजन और इनोवेशन वगैरह जो है वो किया गया था। एक बार उस समय भी इसका परीक्षण किया गया था। इसका अगला परीक्षण दिसंबर में होना था, लेकिन उससे पहले ही जो है ये हादसा हो गया। तो अब ये परीक्षणों के पास होने के बाद किस तरह से ये जितने भी जो 77-8 या 9 जो ड्रीम लाइनर है वो उड़ान भरने के लिए सक्षम है, ये तो जो है अब परीक्षण होने के बाद ही पता चलेगा। जी उदय।
Meanwhile, my colleague Anand Singh has now sent us a ground report from the Air India house in the national capital.
Even as the Ministry of Civil Aviation, DGCA and AAIB are probing the cause of one of the deadliest aircraft crashes in India's aviation history on June 12th in Gujarat's Ahmedabad, in which more than 275 people have died, which includes 241 people on board of that tragic ill-fated aircraft. So clearly, following the crash of the AI-171 London's Gatwick flight involving the Boeing's 787-8 Dreamliner, the DGCA and the Ministry of Civil Aviation had clearly asked the Air India to get mandatory checkups of all these wide-bodied aircrafts that are in the fleet of Air India. So Air India, which operates 33 of the wide-bodied aircraft, in which includes Boeing 787-8 and Boeing 787-9 Dreamliners, the 26 of the aircraft's mandatory checks have been completed. This is what the Air India has said. Whereas sources said that in the coming 3 to 4 days, the checkups of the rest of the 7 wide-bodied aircrafts will be completed. The aircraft carrier also said that Air India plans to also carry out the regular checkups and proper maintenance works of its other Boeing 777 family aircrafts. So clearly, the 24 Boeing 777 aircrafts which are in the Air India's fleet will be also going in for the regular maintenance. This clearly has hampered the travel plans of the Air India, which operates to multiple cities across the globe. So clearly, the Air India in its statement said that in the last 6 days, due to geopolitical tensions in the Middle East, night curfews in Europe and several other parts of the globe, the fleet is facing challenge, and in the last 6 days itself, it has faced 83 cancellations. It also said that from June 20 onwards to mid-July, Air India will be reducing the fleet of wide-bodied aircraft by 15%. So clearly, this is going to hamper the travel plans of the several of the passengers. But Air India has ensured that it will be using its rest of the operational fleet to meet the demand of the passengers. So clearly, these are the steps that Air India has taken to ensure that the passengers who have booked the flight on their carrier, they will be flying on their scheduled time. However, it has said that there can be some disruptions and delays, but it is prepared to deal with such a demand. However, Air India also expressed complete solidarity with the families of the victims who died in this aircraft crash, and they have said that they are ensuring all the help to the families of the victims. The government, meanwhile, on the other hand, they have launched a detailed probe as the black box of the aircraft was recovered from the crash site 2 days later the crash. So clearly, they are going to analyze what led to such a disaster in Gujarat's Ahmedabad on June 12 afternoon. As this flight has just taken off from the Sardar Vallabhbhai airport at 13:39, and it crashed within seconds after taking off from the airport just 2.5 kilometers away from it in Medhani Nagar area, one of the residential areas which also houses the civil hospital, BJ Medical College and the hostels of this hospital. So clearly, Air India also said that it is coordinating with the AAIB, DGCA and Ministry of Civil Aviation to ensure the safety of the passengers, and also to claim that all its fleet, that is of the aircrafts that is in its fleet, they are completely fit to fly, and they are carrying out regular maintenance, and they are also sharing the report with the DGCA and the Ministry of Civil Aviation. So clearly, these are the steps that the Air India has taken in the last few days, and it also says that it will be rebounding, and it will be once again coming up with the revamped plan in the coming days. With Vijay Himanshu Negi, Anand Singh, NewsX, Delhi.
More breaking news now coming in this hour. Students evacuated from Iran under Operation Sindoor have been provided a bus now by the Jammu and Kashmir government. This after they arrived at the Delhi airport early this morning. The students have now boarded the bus and they are en route to Jammu and Kashmir. J&K CM Omar Abdullah has shared that 94 students from the Union Territory have been evacuated from Iran. Arzu Seth is joining us for more on this story. Arzu, have the students of Jammu and Kashmir now left back for their homes from Delhi?
Well, yes, the student evacuated from Iran under the Operation Sindoor faced some challenges with the transportation arrangement made by the Jammu and Kashmir government. But yes, after waiting for 12 hours at the Delhi airport, they have been provided with bus to travel to Jammu and Kashmir. However, the student somewhere expressed concern over the condition of the bus, but now they have been on their way to Jammu and Kashmir. But yes, as far as the evacuation is concerned, 110 students were evacuated from Iran under the Operation Sindhu, with 90 of them are from Jammu and Kashmir. The student somewhere, the office of the also Chief Minister of Jammu and Kashmir took note of the student concern and also directed the resident commissioner to coordinate with the Jammu and Kashmir State Road Transport Corporation to provide deluxe buses to the student journey. And the student have boarded the bus and now are on their route to Jammu and Kashmir. With some students are still expressing concern, but the Jammu and Kashmir government has taken the step to address the concern of the student, and also but it remains to be seen how the situation unfolds. The students are now being taken to Jammu and Kashmir. Yes, Uday.
More breaking developments now coming in this hour. Following the meeting between Pakistani Army Chief Asim Munir and US President Donald Trump, the Pakistan Army has now claimed that the US Special Representative for Middle Eastern Affairs Steve Witkoff and US Secretary of State Marco Rubio were also present during the Trump-Munir lunch talks. Ajay Jandial is joining us for more on this story. Ajay, what is the Pakistan Army claiming about this Munir-Trump meeting?
They claims that it was a very conducive meeting as far as the Pakistan is concerned, because Pakistan was in the dock because of the ongoing situation between India and Pakistan. And the way basically Indian forces, they have hit out at Pakistani, base camps and other Pakistani tower launch pads. And then they are, the world over Indian authorities and the member parliaments, they have highlighted that how Pakistan basically is running a terror factory over there. So Pakistan was in a tough situation, but after this invitation by America, Pakistan feels that it is going to help them to pacify the situation and also improve their image as well. But how it is going to happen, that has to be seen, because you too know, Uday, that this meeting between US President and Pakistani Army Chief is a message to the world that Pakistan is not a democracy. It is only a army-run, army-ruled country, and that's why they have, instead of inviting a prime minister, they have invited a Pakistani army chief. And why they have invited that to the situation which basically is unfolding after Iran and Israel war, there are apprehension that US also can make an entry into this current situation in the war. So that's why Pakistan is a very important place as far as the Iran is concerned, and that's why US is basically taking Pakistan into the confidence, so that if a situation arises, they'll be able to tackle the situation. And Pakistan claims that it was a very good meeting. They claim that they have invited Donald Trump as well. So see that what will happen in the coming days.
More breaking news meanwhile coming in. Pakistan Army has released, in fact, the press release says Field Marshal Syed Asim Munir and US President Donald Trump discussed India-Pakistan, Iran-Israel, minerals, trade, cryptocurrency, AI during the meeting at the White House, which they say lasted for 2 hours. This comes after PM Modi had a phone call with Donald Trump, where it was clearly stated by India that no third-party mediation will be accepted on issues with Pakistan. Ajay Jandial continues to be with us. Ajay, Pakistan claiming that this meeting happened for 2 hours. They've also listed out the topics which were discussed between Munir and Trump.
Yes, they basically, that is, even our sources are saying that that meeting lasted for 2 hours, and they have discussed number of things. And definitely when Pakistan is going to, Pakistani Army Chief is going to America, and what else they will prefer to discuss other than India, because everyone knows that how Pakistan was, given a defeat and a tough action by the Indian forces. So that's why India was in the discussion. So what will happen in the coming days, that has to be seen. But India has clarified its stand that they don't want any mediation between the two countries, and if Pakistan want good relation with India, then they have to end this terrorism. They have to stop giving space to their land to terrorists and operate against India. Other than that, what they have discussed Iran-Israel situation. They have discussed crypto. Yes, crypto basically has started from the US, and what our sources are saying that Pakistan is also becoming a hub of a crypto, because the cheaters, the people, those who cheating all over the world with this cryptocurrencies and other network marketing in the crypto, they are basically living and operating in Pakistan. So that's why this will happen, because Shahbaz Sharif's son is given responsibility of the crypto handling in Pakistan.
More breaking news, in fact, coming in this hour. The Pakistani Army has also claimed that President Trump lauded Pakistan's ongoing efforts for regional peace and stability and appreciated the robust counter-terrorism cooperation between the two countries, saying both sides reaffirmed their commitment to continued collaboration in the field of counter-terrorism, quote-unquote. Meanwhile, the US has yet to speak on the meeting between the two. Ajay Jandal continues to be live with us. Ajay, interestingly, the US has not said much about this meeting, but Pakistan is making all sorts of claims, claiming that counter-terrorism measures were also discussed.
Yes, Pakistan is claiming that it was a very good meeting. Asim Munir, he appreciated the vision of the Trump. He appreciated the step taken by Trump, and basically he wanted to be close to the America, because he know that America is a superpower as far as Pakistan is concerned, and they know that if they need something to help, then only America can help them out, like the situation they are facing in the Balochistan and Khyber Pakhtunkhwa and other areas. And that's why they have discussed mineral as well, because the Pakistan want US to invest in Balochistan so that they can extract the minerals, because they want Balochistan to be handled by America, because China and Pakistan have failed miserably in Balochistan, because on the ongoing situation like BLA is targeting and Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, TTP is targeting Pakistani forces. That is something they are not able to control.
All right, more breaking news now coming in. Bangladesh's National Security Advisor Dr. Khalilur Rahman has met with US Deputy Secretary of State Christopher Lando at the State Department in Washington, D.C. According to Bangladeshi media reports, they discussed the Rohingya issue, ongoing tariff negotiations between Bangladesh and the US, developments in South Asia, and the democratic transition in Bangladesh. Bangladeshi media has reported that the US Deputy Secretary of State lauded the leadership of Chief Advisor Professor Mohammad Yunus at a critical juncture for Bangladesh and reiterated continued US support for the country. So these, of course, are the big updates that we are tracking for you. This meeting has been held between the Bangladesh NSA and the US Deputy Secretary of State. This meeting reportedly took place in Washington, D.C. So United States and Bangladesh holding these talks in the United States of America. Bangladesh's National Security Advisor Dr. Khalilur Rahman has met with the US Deputy Secretary of State Christopher Lando. Arzu Seth is joining us on the broadcast. Arzu, what was discussed in this meeting?
The National Security Advisor Khalilur Rahman met U.S. Deputy Secretary of State at the State Department in Washington, D.C. Also, they discussed the Rohingyas issue, ongoing tariff negotiation between the Bangladesh and the U.S., developments in South Asia, and also the democratic transition in Bangladesh. According to the message that has been received, the official message that has been received. Also, the U.S. Deputy Secretary of the State lauded the leadership of the Chief Advisor, Professor Mohammad Yunus, at the critical, juncture of the Bangladesh, and reiterated a continued U.S. support for Bangladesh. Also, Rahman separately met Assistant U.S. Trade Representative and had a fruitful discussion on the agreement between the two countries on the reciprocal tariff. So, on the several issues, there had been discussion that has, happened between the National Security Advisor also with the U.S. Deputy Secretary of the State yesterday.
More breaking developments, in fact, that we're tracking this hour. Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has shared a post on X condemning the attack on the Soroka hospital in Beersheba. In the post, Netanyahu said, and I quote, "This morning, Iran's terrorist tyrants launched missiles at the Soroka hospital in Beersheba and at a civilian population in the center of the country. We will exact the full price from the tyrants in Tehran." Arzu Seth is with us live on this big story. Arzu, some tough talking there by Benjamin Netanyahu, who has attacked Iran for attacking this hospital in Israel.
Well, definitely, Uday, this seems to be accelerating day by day, and also Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has vowed to respond forcefully after Iran launched a ballistic missile that hit Soroka hospital in Beersheba. Also, southern Israel, causing extensive damage and injuring several people. The missile strike also targeted civilian area in central Israel, resulting at least 40 injured. Also the hospital, a major medical facility in southern Israel, suffered significant damage from the missile strike. Several residential buildings were also hit, and more than 40 people were wounded in the attack. Iran claimed it targeted an Israeli military strike, not the hospital, and also attributed the hospital damage to the blast wave from the missile. Also we can clearly see the global reactions that are coming in. The US President Donald Trump has hinted at possible military action against Iran, stating he might or might not join Israel's campaign. So yes, Netanyahu has warned that Iran will have to pay a heavy price for the hospital strike, and Israel has targeted Iranian nuclear, sites and missile facilities. As far as this conflict is concerned, the conflict has entered its 7th day, with both sides, they're exchanging intensive missile fire, and speculation growing about the potential U.S. involvement also. Yes, Uday.
All right, we're getting more breaking news, in fact, coming in now. Israel's defense minister has said that Iran's supreme leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei would in fact be held accountable after an Iranian strike on Soroka hospital in Israel, adding he had ordered the army to intensify strikes on Iran. These are some of the most serious war crimes, and Khamenei will be held accountable for his actions, Israel Katz has said, adding that he and Prime Minister ordered the military to intensify strikes against strategic targets in Iran and against the power infrastructure in Tehran in order to eliminate the threats of the state to Israel and to shake Ayatollah's regime. So the Israel defense minister has also now spoken out after this attack that Israel is claiming happened on a hospital within its territory at the behest of Iran. They say that this was a missile fired by the Iranian military targeting civilians and targeting this hospital. Arzu is live with us. Arzu, what has the Israel defense minister now said?
Well, Israeli defense minister has warned that Iran's supreme leader Khamenei would be held accountable for the recent Iranian missile strike on the medical center. Also, Israel's largest hospital, the strike caused significant damage, and also, as I mentioned, that injured a lot of people, patients, doctor, and also the staff. The cowardly Iranian dictator sits in the depth of the fortified bunkers and fired in shots at the hospital and residential building in the Israel. These are war crimes of the most serious kind, and also the defense minister said that the supreme leader will be held accountable for his crime. He also, along with the Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, has instructed the IDF to increase the intensify of attack against the strategic target in Iran and government target in Tehran. So now this can be seen as an acceleration of this war, as the instruction has been given by the Prime Minister and also the Defense Minister of Israel to increase the number of intensity of the attack against the Iran and also the Iran capital Tehran. The conflict has intensified, with Iran launching around 30 ballistic missiles targeting the multiple sites in Israel. And this statement comes after the attack has been done on the hospital in Israel. Yes,
more breaking news now coming in. Iran's deputy foreign minister has warned against any direct US involvement in the conflict between Israel and Iran, saying Iran had all the necessary options on the table. In comments reported by the Iranian state media, Israel's deputy foreign minister Kazem Gharibabadi has in fact said, and I quote, "If the US wants to actively intervene in support of Israel, Iran will have no other option but to use its tools to teach aggressors, in fact, a lesson and defend itself. Our military decision makers have all necessary options on the table." Iran has now issued this warning to the United States of America, Arzu.
Well, yes, Iran's deputy foreign minister Kazem Gharibabadi has, warned the U.S. Against direct involvement in the Israel-Iran conflict, stating that the Iran has all necessary options on the table. And if the U.S. supports Israel, Iran will defend itself and teach aggressor a lesson. And, this also, Iran is prepared to respond firmly to any U.S. military intervention in support of Israel. Also, the U.S. have been keeping its option open with the President Donald Trump, stating he might or might not join Israel's campaign against Iran. The conflict has led to the evacuation of the citizens from various countries, including India, New Zealand, Japan, due to the accelerating tensions. And now the Iran's deputy foreign minister has warned the U.S. against the direct involvement in the Israel and Iran conflict, saying that all necessary options are on the table. So there has been some warning that is being given by the Iran. The conflict has in fact entered the 7th day, with both sides continuously giving statements and also...
All right, more breaking news now coming in. According to reports, at least 47 people have been injured in Israel after Iran's missile attack. Israel's Magen David Adom Rescue Service has said at least 47 people were injured in Iran's latest missile strikes, updating an earlier toll and reporting 18 more injured while running to the shelter. An MDA spokesperson has said in a statement that 3 of these people are in serious condition and 2 others are in a moderate condition. Anand Singh is joining us with the very latest on this story. Anand, have Israelis been injured in these latest Iran attacks? Anand, can you hear me? Okay, so Israel, of course, injured toll goes up. Reportedly, 47 people have been injured in Israel after these latest Iran missile attacks. Okay, we're getting more breaking news now coming in. The Israeli Defense Forces have claimed that Israel has hit key sites tied to Iran's nuclear weapons and missile programs, including inactive nuclear reactor in Arak, which according to the IDF is a key component in plutonium production, a nuclear weapons development site near Natanz, ballistic missile and air defense production facilities, radar systems and missile storage sites as well. In fact, in a latest statement, the IDF has said they will continue operating to eliminate threats and defend the state of Israel. Anand Singh is joining us for more on this story. Anand, take us through these latest claims made by Israel on where their missiles are targeting.
Yeah, well, look, the way in which the IDF today issued a statement, and it said that it has struck several key sites tied to Iran's nuclear weapons and missile programs, including inactive nuclear reactor in Arak, a key component in plutonium production. And similarly, it also said that a nuclear weapons development site near Natanz has also been hit, whereas ballistic missile and air defense production facilities as well as radar systems and missile storage facilities of Iran have been hit by the Israeli forces. So these are clearly the updates that have been shared by the IDF in view of the escalating tensions between Iran and Israel in the last 1 week. So clearly, today also we saw that how several of the missiles have hit Israel. Then Israel also retaliated, and it has targeted several of the key sites of the nuclear facilities in Iran. That's it.
Anand, thank you for joining us with those details. Let's slip into a short break. On that note, stay with NewsX.